Hi everyone, this is Sampada Vaze and I'm here on behalf of GRMI, and we have today with us Surbhi, who's an alumna of GRMI. Thanks so much Surbhi for being with us on Sunday.
Happy to be here, Sampada.
How's the week been? Are you guys all back to work after the New Year's? Did you have a break at all, or was it a working New Year's?
No, thankfully we did. We had in fact, a good long break this time. So a good
Okay.
2 week break, and we just came back to work like last week after that. So it's been
Okay.
good coming back, and yeah, back to the grind now.
All right, lovely. So, for people who may not know you, could you tell us a little bit about your current role and how long you've been there, the purview of your work, and what are you working on currently? Like, what's keeping you busy?
Yeah. So currently I'm placed at Bain Capability Network, and I'm based out of Gurgaon office. And my role is in PEG, which is their private equity department, and I'm a senior associate there. So generally, my work is a lot around, being part of different due diligences that we do for a lot of targets, largely based in the Americas region. So a lot of, late night, early morning calls that keep us busy coordinating with the US-based clients. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Generally, peg cases are very, quick turnaround. So we have like very short-lived cases, and we keep switching from one case to another very quickly. So yeah, that's been happening. These days, we're working on something in the financial sector. So again, based in the US. So
Okay.
that's actually it.
Okay, nice. So, you basically work in the technical sector and the financial services sector, both? Is that how it is?
Yeah, like in terms of industry, it varies from anything, like any other consulting project. It could be healthcare, it could be financial sector, it could be literally any sector in the world, like gaming and like a lot of new sectors that are coming up. So we work in everything, and we work with a lot of private equity clients who are looking to invest in different targets in US region. So we
Okay.
help them with their due diligence process, basically.
Okay. That's a word everyone is scared of, yeah? Due diligence, isn't it? So, talking about due diligence, before this, you worked with one or the other of the big four. So, could you take us through your career, um, the last couple of years, and how GRMI kind of was instrumental in that as well, and how it affected your career path?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, before this, I was working at EY, which was Bangalore office of EY India, and that was a proper internal audit risk consulting role that I was placed in, and that was like right after GRMI. So I was a fresher when I came to GRMI and with zero work ex. So it was like the first job, usual, jitters that you get. But the whole transition was so smooth because whatever we learned during our course at GRMI, that was like very directly applicable to my job role, at least when I entered EY. So it was a very smooth and easy transition for me. And and I think that generally doesn't happen. Like there's generally a lot of gap between what we learn in the classrooms and what we have to apply outside. But this transition was so smooth. Like, and I mean, I remember that when we joined, it was like three, four of us who joined together. And like whenever we were talking also in meetings and calls, like everyone just knew that we are from a certain college because of the kind of knowledge we had already. So I think it was a really good experience that way.
Thanks. So, you said three, four of you joined together at the same organization, right? So, did
Yeah,
that help? Like, did you had an alumni network, sort of not just in the institute, but even when you joined, did that help?
definitely. Like we already had a network to reach out to, like, and because we were from similar background, and we had learned similar concepts, similar things in the course. So definitely very helpful to. Plus, it was a different city altogether for us. Like we were moving to Bangalore, and so it was wonderful to have a set of people that you already know and to rely on. So that was really great.
Okay. And I mean, I think in business schools or any postgraduate programs, obviously the network we make is like a major, major asset that we have.
Yeah.
But apart from that, what else would you say were the most valuable takeaways from GRMI, both within the classroom and outside the classroom? Like for you personally, what were the most valuable takeaways?
I think for me, it was a very holistic shift in the way I approached problems in general, not just, and when I say problems, it is not just about, a case that I'm solving or a problem statement that I'm solving at work. In general, I think the way they shaped us was very interesting. Like the kind of conversations we had during this 1 year of course, for me that was very transformational because until graduation it was very theoretical, it was very focused on just books and academics. But outside of that, when we came to GRMI, the kind of professors we had, like most of them were from they were already working, they were from the industry. So talking to them already gave me a very good stepping stone about how the people are going to be, how do I have to communicate with them when I go to work, and like what kind of conversations are actually happening in the world outside, what is even relevant. So everything became a very actually a working experience only. It was not like a typical college that you go to and you're just reading books. So for me, those two things I would say: one, that entire shift in how I looked at problems, and because we did a lot of case studies, a lot of we didn't have as such books per se, right? It was all like whoever the faculty was, it was up to them and the students how the course was going. So that whole shift in the way I looked at problems, plus having that exposure already, communicating with working professionals, having great conversations with them. So I think those two were really important takeaways for me. Like nothing felt very new after the course. Like when I moved to the working world, that transition was way easier than I think it would otherwise have been.
Okay, okay, nice. And for you, should be like, what was your graduation before, and then how did you decide that this is the postgraduate program you wanted to pursue? And yeah, how did you come upon this decision? Like, what was your base, and how did it link in?
Yeah, so I was doing graduation in business administration.
Mhm.
So I had like two options. One, either I should go for an MBA. I knew I didn't feel ready to work right away after graduation, so that I was sure about, that I wanted to study more. But MBA also did not feel right at the time because I wasn't sure what am I looking for after an MBA. So just did not sit well at that time. So I was looking for two courses. I was interested in investment banking or risk consulting, two of those streams. So then I started reading up a little bit about both of them and shortlisting, what all different courses are available. And then I came across GRMI, which was pretty new at the time. But when I went through their brochure and the course curriculum they had, that just seemed very interesting to me. So it was like I just stepped upon it, and then it was something very interesting when I went through it. When I spoke to Subhashi sir, Puneet sir, like it just felt like the right thing to do. And I'm so happy that I did not overthink on that at the time, because the institute was new. There are a lot of apprehensions that people have. So, but gladly I did not overthink a lot. And I think that has been one of the best decisions I took.
Nice. That's good to hear. So, according to you, like, if what is the kind of work a person should want to do, which would make them come to GRMI for the postgraduate program? Like, what is the end goal they should be looking at, where GRMI is part of the path to that?
I think there's no one end goal, to be honest. Like, I don't think I would look at it that way, like, because it's like any other management program only. Of course, the curriculum is focused on risk consulting, and you know, Big Four is the main like recruiter that is there for the institute. But I feel that, like, for example, I'm not working at any Big Four right now, and my work is not at all exactly related to what I studied, perhaps. But overall, it's like any other management course, that it helps you understand things better and what is in fact relevant outside the world. So definitely, if someone wants to join a Big Four, definitely GRMI is the place to be. But even if someone is looking for something else outside of that, I think it's still a great place to be, because you build a really strong network of very like-minded people. You meet a lot of industry professionals, you get all the resources that you need because of the kind of course and mentors we have here. Like, for example, I knew that I wanted to eventually go in investment banking or private equity, that side. So I always got that kind of mentorship from the faculty there. Like, they also knew that this is where I want to eventually end up. and they help you along that part. So I would say that it's not restricted to one thing only. Like I know my peers from my batch who are working in very different fields right now. Somebody started their own startup, somebody like me is working in a different like private equity setup. So people are doing different sort of things. Somebody became a pilot. So people are doing all sorts of things after this. So it's like any other course in that sense. I don't think we should restrict it to one thing. But definitely if Big Four is somebody's target, then I think no two thoughts about it.
Okay. And you did mention earlier that the institute is fairly new, which I am also there. So the people probably who are more experienced in your field would have practical industry knowledge, but not necessarily a technical degree to back up their knowledge here. So do you find that because you have a technical degree to back it up, or let's say a postgraduate degree to back it up, you're able to sort of catch up a little faster rather than going through the grind of the years to get that experience? Do you find it's helped you that way, GRMI?
Definitely. Like if I talk about my experience at EY, I wouldn't say it was more because of the degree, but it was more because of the concepts I was already aware of, the kind of assignments I had already done in college, right? So that helped me catch up really fast. Like I think right from the first project we were put at, we were already doing really well because the time that an individual takes, right? Typical time, like 3 to 6 months to just understand those technical jargons where you get comfortable around what is happening. We did not need that. Like we were comfortable like quite from the start. So I think more than the degree, the whole knowledge that we got during this 1 year was super helpful, and we didn't really have to tell anyone. Like I still remember one of my senior consultants asked me on the second day of our conversation when I had joined that how do you even know all this if you've never worked before? So because she was like, I came to know all of this after like a year or so I had worked. So that was a compliment in itself. Like they knew that we could catch up really fast. So
Nice. You also mentioned a couple of times your classmates, right? So do you all have a strong network amongst you all? Do you all catch up? Do you all talk as to what each one of you is doing and where you're at?
So we do keep in touch. Like we met sometime back during our convocation, and it's good to catch up. Although all of us are spread across cities, and it's hard to catch up because of that. But yes, we try to catch up whenever possible. So yeah.
Okay, nice. And some of them are doing things completely different from you. So apart from the Big Four and consulting that you're doing, what other things are your classmates doing which sort of intrigues you or you find fascinating, or something you hadn't thought of while passing out that it could be used in that industry as well? Is there something like that?
Yeah, like I remember somebody started their own startup right after, I think after some time of graduating, and one of my classmates anyway already was very clear that she wanted to be a pilot eventually, so she took that up. Like, so all of them worked for a while in Big Four, but then after that moved on to do different things. So these are two I remember right now. But like that's why I was saying that it's not at all restricted to just Big Four or a specific kind of work. It's I think like we had subjects like strategic thinking where you learn just how to solve those case studies. Like for example, in my interview at Bain, generally they ask a lot around guesstimates and case studies and all of that, and I had never had any formal education around that. Generally people spend a lot of time in preparing for those interviews because they're like fairly hard to crack, but it was fairly easy because the kind of assignments we used to have in college, like case studies and all of that, and those discussions, that interview felt like just a simple discussion that I was having in classroom. So it's
that's a pretty unusual experience. Otherwise, it's such a stressful experience, your first job interview and everything. It's
exactly
really stressful.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I think that's about it. These are all the questions we have. I think you were able to provide us with a perspective on GRMI, how it helped, and how specifically it's woven into your career, both in the Big Four as well as in Bains. And thank you again for taking our time on a Sunday, and wish you a great week ahead.
Really happy to connect, and it's always really good to come back and talk to anyone about the college, because it has been such a pivotal decision for me that always happy to talk about it and provide any perspective that I can, and really makes me proud to see where we have come from, where we had started. So definitely a very happy moment for me to connect as well.
Well, on behalf of GRMI, thank you again. See you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.